when you asked me a year from now or a year ago, I'd probably given you a different answer. But even though it's all time, I still kind of have your tastes change over time. But probably, well, my most favorite album of all time, probably, that I always return to is Crimson by Edge of Sanity, which is maybe a little bit obscure now because the band doesn't exist anymore for a long time. But I'm a huge fan of Dan Swano, and I hope I pronounced it right, at least close. So Crimson, I think, is one of the best albums of all time. And then I'd probably say, well, I grew up listening to Dimmu Borgir from Norway.
Right.
So, and not everyone's favorite album from them, but I really love Spiritual Black Dimensions. That they're kind of a little bit more experimental album. That one is great. That's also something that I always return to. And for the third one, I would probably say something newer. I'd probably say the most recent album from RAWKS from Norway. Okay. It's kind of a progressive thing. Aphelium, I think it's called, and that is an absolutely amazing album. I've listened to it for several months again and again, and still find great things about it. So that really struck me, that one.
What about free musicians you would love to work with?
Well, it's also a difficult question because there's also a lot of them. But I'd say Ishan, probably from Emperor, one of my most favorite musicians. He's a great guitarist, great vocalist, and also an awesome composer. I love his solo stuff, and also what he did with Emperor was groundbreaking at the time. Probably my most favorite vocalist in like extreme metal is Danefeld from Cradle of Filth.
All right, yeah.
Nobody is doing what he's doing. Nobody can do what he can do, and that's also a band that I listen to from basically my teens. So since my teens, so Danefeld and well, you gotta have Iron Maiden there. Bruce Dickinson.
About 6 countries that you would love to take your band on tour to, if you could.
Countries, well, probably Norway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, well, most of my favorite bands are from there, or Sweden or Britain. So probably Norway, Britain, Sweden, and yeah, I don't know, from Europe probably. Well, Germany, we already did some gigs there. It's awesome there. Maybe somewhere in the south, like Italy or Greece, maybe.
Do you prefer vinyl or digital?
Well, I don't actually own a record player, so I can't really answer that honestly. But, well, I only listen to digital, but I'm planning on buying a record player, and I probably will prefer vinyl then, but probably not because of the sound quality or anything. I don't really believe that vinyl is that much better or worse, but I think it's more about the ritual of it, because nowadays you don't really sit down and listen to music, do you? Most of the people listen on their phones and in their headphones while commuting and stuff like that. And I think that I think is the appeal of vinyl, to just really sit down in your living room, put on a record and really listen to it, and don't do anything else while you're listening to it. And I think that is the most appealing thing about vinyl. That is the reason I want to buy a record player and get into that. But, well, I haven't... well, I'm 32, so when I was a kid, CDs were a thing, and cassettes were basically on the way out.
Yeah.
So I didn't really grow up with vinyls at home or something like that. So I don't really have that connection with that. But, yeah, I'm looking into that. So ask me in a year.
All right, okay. So, if you were in a coma, what song would you have? Sorry, let's do that question again. If you were in a coma, what song would wake you up?
Well, that's a great question. Yeah. Let me think about it. Well, I probably have to say Crimson from Edge of Sanity, because that starting riff with the growl in the front and the music joining, that's like, I've loved that since I first heard it, and I've never stopped loving that. So I would have to say that one.
Okay. If it was like a made-up song about your personality, what would it be called?
Well, I really don't know how to answer that. Nothing comes to mind, really.
Okay.
That's a difficult question.
We'll call it Nothing Comes to Mind. Right.
Yeah.
So, if you had a superpower for the day, what would you choose?
Superpower for a day.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was saying probably some kind of power to shred on the guitar or play godly on the piano, or have a voice like something music related, because I think that beats flying every time.
Absolutely. Do you guys prefer festivals or small intimate gigs?
Oh, well, interesting. I don't know, actually. I think that you can't really choose one, because, well, in my 20s, well, as an audience, probably I would say that in my 20s I loved festivals, but it's a demanding thing to do.
It is.
So now I probably prefer clubs.
Mm-hmm.
But as a band, it really depends on the event. Really, we had some great festivals, we had some great clubs, and vice versa. It really depends. I probably don't prefer one or the other. It's always depends on the gig.
Okay. And the final one is Budvar, the Czech beer, or Budweiser, the American beer.
I've actually never had Budweiser, the American one, but I probably will be hated for this if some Czech people listen to this, but I don't really like Budvar. I'm actually from the city that Budvar is brewed in. I'm from Budweis. So, but I don't like that beer. I like Pilsner.